Hello everybody. This is an amazing man. Let me introduce you. Why don't you tell everybody your name? To the camera.
My name is Wes Linden, and it's a pleasure to chat to someone of this guy's caliber.
So today I'm just going to ask Wes a couple of things. First of all, I might ask him about his upbringing. So as a student with £10,000 debt back then, what were your thoughts back then? How did you think you'd become a wealthy man, and what your life would be like back then, back as a student? So back then, you were a student. Did you ever think that you'd become a business, or you'd set up a business? What did you think it would be like back then?
Well, at that point in my life, I was at university, I had lots of debt, and I didn't see the way out of that. The way out of that seemed like getting into more debt to try and pay off the debt that you had, and it just was going to be like a cycle. But obviously got involved with a business that you've involved with, you're very successful in yourself, and realised that if you are prepared to come outside of your comfort zone, to do something different from a traditional 9 to 5, even if it's alongside a 9 to 5 or alongside your studies, you can create an income over a period of time that can grow, can become like a walk-away residual income. And of course, as you know from the business yourself, there's also lots of great bonuses and upfront money you can earn too. So did I think I'd get to that point? Probably not, but was I open to finding something? Yes, definitely.
So when you were building the business, you dropped out of uni, or did you carry on your studies at the same time as working on the business?
Yeah, I mean, we're all different. So if people are at university and they're doing well, then carry on. Enjoy university and run a business on the side, have a side gig, That wasn't my story. I failed my first year at university. I was well on my way to failing my second year too. And one of us was going to part company with the other. Either I was going to leave uni or they were going to ask me to leave. So I took the decision to drop out. But of course, that doesn't have to be everyone's story. So I took that decision and then focused more on building the business that we're involved in together. And that turned out to be a great decision for me.
So I've seen your journey for years now. It's really inspiring, and it has inspired a lot of people actually. So I just wanted to ask you, so on your journey, what impact did that have on your family?
Well, Hugh, look, here's the thing. Everybody wants to be associated to someone who is successful, but most people don't want to be part of the journey. They don't want to associate with that. So I had people in my life that were like, "What are you doing? You're mad, you're crazy. Why are you trying to build a business? Who do you think you are? You're never going to succeed. What experience have you got? And all this kind of stuff. Just go and get a job." I had all this kind of thing. And so on the journey, people weren't necessarily connecting with it. But as the business evolved, the success started to come. People started to see, okay, this is real, this is legitimate, this does work. Maybe I should take a proper look myself. Maybe I should understand, respect, and appreciate what it is you're doing. But when I got my first flat, which was above a shop, and I had no money, and I had a mortgage I could barely afford. I had not, it's like £100 a month left for food and everything else. Nobody thought it looked pretty. Nobody thought it looked good. But on the journey to success, there are always going to be difficulties. There are always going to be failures. There are always going to be disappointments, and there's going to be some hard time. And there was for me as well. Like any entrepreneur, like anyone that wants to be successful in music or football or sport or business or life or anything, journeys are not plain sailing always. But then when you get there, it can make a real difference. And now, many years on, obviously, I have lots of holidays each year.
How many holidays do you have per year, actually, mate?
maybe this year 13 or 14, I don't, maybe.
13 or 14?
Yeah.
So you've had a lot of holidays, I've seen your journey. So my last question, for young people, how can they achieve the kind of wealth that you've got? Do you reckon they should stick to the university route? Should they focus on business? I know what your story is, but what would you advise young people these days?
So, young people, for starters, are in a great position because they're young. They've got lots of years ahead of them to learn, to develop, to meet people, to network, to grow. And I think I think it's a shame if somebody goes and gets a degree in something that they enjoy and then goes and gets a job that's nothing to do with their degree, which is the case for 74% of students who graduate, I believe. And then they get stuck in a job they don't want to be in forever to pay bills for a place that they don't spend any time with because they're too busy working. So I think that's a shame. So I'm not saying people shouldn't do degrees or shouldn't follow their education or shouldn't get jobs. Like, all of these things are important. But we live in times where it is possible to get something on the side, like a side gig thing, just like you've done, just like we've, thousands of people in our business have done. So they can build an income on the side, so they could work full-time on their job and part-time on their lifestyle, on their fortune, on their income, that allows them to go on holiday when they choose, travel when they choose, buy their own flat, buy their own car, pay for their own insurance, take their girlfriend or boyfriend on a holiday, pay for their family as they start to grow a family, all of those things. And of course, if they choose to move away from their job and focus full-time on being an entrepreneur, then yeah, do it. But if you're 20 or 25, 30, if you're in your early years, there's no excuse whatsoever not to start building something on the side. Because even if it took you 10 years to grow it properly, so what? And I'm 35 and I've got the rest of life ahead of me to enjoy it. So.
Do you have any quote that you sort of remember that you've heard in the last sort of 20 years that really impacted your life? I guess what the audience might want to know is something that they can have a take-home quote. If you understand.
So I would say that one that's always stuck with me is that you do today what others won't do, so you can do tomorrow what others can't do. Do today what others won't do, so you can do tomorrow what others can't do. And that's what I think entrepreneurialism, that's what you've done, that's what many of your team have done. You've stepped out of your comfort zone to do something different. And because of it, you can now have choices and lifestyle that other people can't.
Wow. So that's Wes, everybody. He's a well-known in the community. If you want to know more information, you could ask him.